We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Iran escalates, tornadoes decimate Mississippi, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lupkin, and here's the news you need to know. A U.S. service member was wounded in a series of new attacks Friday targeting U.S. bases in Syria following Thursday's fatal drone attack on a U.S. base. On Thursday, a U.S. contractor was killed and 5 U.S. service members and a second U.S. contractor wounded when a suspected Iranian drone hit a coalition base in Syria, according to U.S. officials. Following that initial attack, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement that U.S. Central Command forces retaliated with precision airstrikes against facilities in eastern Syria used by groups affiliated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard. The Defense Department said the intelligence community had determined the unmanned aerial vehicle used in the Thursday attack was of Iranian origin. There was another 3 attacks on Friday on U.S. military bases in Syria since the retaliatory U.S. airstrikes. A U.S. service member was wounded in one of those attacks, the official said. U.S. officials confirmed one of the 3 new attacks targeted an American base southeast of the Syrian province of Deir al-Zur on Friday, saying there were lots of rockets fired, but no known U.S. casualties. Reports surfaced that a missile salvo had targeted a U.S. base near the Al Omar oil field. The Reuters news agency and local media, including a pro-Iran outlet based in Lebanon, first reported the strike. Photos and reports on social media suggested at least one missile had missed the intended target, hitting homes in the region instead. President Biden on Sunday declared a disaster in Mississippi following a devastating storm and tornadoes that left a swath of destruction through parts of the state. In a White House readout, Biden confirmed that federal aid was on its way to Mississippi and that it makes funding available to affected individuals in Carroll, Humphreys, Monroe, and Sharkey counties. In a separate statement, Biden said he was praying for those who have lost loved ones in the devastating tornadoes in Mississippi and for those whose loved ones are missing, and that the images from the destruction were heartbreaking. At least 25 people have died and dozens are missing following the tornadoes, with that number expected to rise. About 100 people participated in a rally in Hong Kong on Sunday, the first protest since China imposed tough restrictions on the rights of people in the semi-autonomous territory. The demonstrations were marching against a land reclamation plan in the eastern part of the financial hub. Police imposed tight restrictions on the event, cordoning off protesters from the press. Participants had to wear number tags, and authorities vetted their banners ahead of time, although the demonstrators were allowed to chant slogans in opposition to the project. One demonstrator, requesting anonymity, said, "The conditions were ridiculous. I am here to join a march, not a shame parade," he said. Former President Donald Trump appeared to be losing his hold on his base at a rally in Waco. The typically raucous crowd went silent when he mocked Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, his expected presidential rival, on Saturday. Speaking to his supporters, Trump said DeSantis asked him for an endorsement for his 2018 governor's race, claiming the Florida Republican came to him with tears in his eyes. The former president ultimately falsely touted himself as DeSantis' savior, claiming it was his endorsement that secured a win for the Florida governor. But as Trump imitated DeSantis in a pleading voice, the throngs were unusually silent, failing to cheer as they did when he attacked other foes such as Hillary Clinton or Ted Cruz. This is the latest indication that even Trump supporters are tiring of his antics. NATO on Sunday called Russian President Vladimir Putin's plan to station tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus dangerous and irresponsible. Ukraine condemned Putin's rhetoric too, calling for an emergency United Nations Security Council meeting to address Russia's nuclear blackmail. Putin said Saturday that his decision was similar to the United States' storing of dozens of nuclear weapons in Europe. Putin's remarks were not unexpected, but they marked an escalation of his veiled references to the possibility of a tactical nuclear strike in Ukraine, where his forces are bogged down more than a year after invading. Experts said Putin's decision marked a significant reversal from his previous boasting that, unlike the U.S., Russia didn't deploy nuclear weapons in other countries. The Vatican and Pope Francis on Saturday unveiled new legislation that updates existing rules within the Catholic Church, allowing senior clergymen to be held accountable for covering up sexual abuse within their diocese. The new guidelines extend previously held accountability clauses over sexual abuse to cover lay leaders of the church, and also reaffirm the church's belief that non-consenting adults can also be victims of abuse. The legislation was first drafted in 2019, following a series of sex abuse scandals in the U.S., Latin America, and Europe. It says that all Catholic churches must have a public, stable, and easily accessible process for reporting and stopping sexual abuse. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.